2021 has been a season like no other. The bitter rivalry between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen was evident to see as soon as the opening round in Bahrain, and with many controversial moments throughout the season, it all came down to the wire when the two title protagonists lined up on the front row in Abu Dhabi with 0 points between them. We've all seen and heard what followed then countless times. Hamilton jumped Verstappen on the start and was pulling away as the Dutchman couldn't find an answer to his pace. When a late safety car occurred with just 5 laps to go, Verstappen dived into the pits as the Red Bull mechanics put a brand new set of shiny red-striped tires on his car. This gave the 24-year-old a massive advantage over Hamilton, who was running on an old hard compound set. Under normal conditions, the race would end under the safety car, but with this being a title decider, race control decided to green flag the race with just 1 lap to go. Verstappen took a late lunge and then defended well against Hamilton and was eventually crowned world champion of 2022. This left a bitter taste on Hamilton's tongue as the Briton made his frustration evident as he seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth. Lewis didn't talk to any media for 2 months. He took his Instagram following to 0 and deleted the app from his phone and didn't make a single public appearance, even refusing to attend the mandatory FIA prize-giving ceremony in Paris. This left many speculating whether we will see the Briton behind the wheel of a Formula One car ever again, as heaps of fans were certain Hamilton will hang his racing boots and call it a day. But with the 37-year-old's motto remaining to be "Still I Rise," he followed through and is indeed lining up on the grid as he aims to make it 8 world championships by the time we get to Abu Dhabi. It could be said that Hamilton was robbed of his title, not by Max Verstappen, but by the race control. He drove a faultless race and looked set to take his record-breaking 8th title. That was until the whole safety car saga, which saw him cross the finish line in 2nd place. But even though the 37-year-old has made it evident that he doesn't blame Verstappen but rather the race director, he said that Verstappen only took advantage of the situation as any driver would, and that he doesn't see any problem with it as he would have done the same in his position. But it has to hurt. There's still hard feelings between the pair till this day. They really enjoyed what was one of the most violent and heated championships the sport has ever seen, as they made contact and got involved in on-track accidents more often than not. It's no secret that the two drivers don't share a particularly great relationship, so when Hamilton was asked about his thoughts on Verstappen as a driver, the 7-time champ didn't hesitate to take a dig at the young Dutchman. "I think Max is aggressive as hell," said Hamilton in the 4th season of Drive to Survive. And, more often than not, he pushes it to the limit and beyond. "I've raced against a lot of drivers. There is always bullies, but that's not how I operate. I just try and beat them on the track," concluded the Mercedes man. The two drivers shared countless incidents during their battle for the crown, whether it was the defining crashes like Silverstone, Monza, or Jeddah, or minor wheel banging and dirty racing that occurred almost every time the pairing battled for a position. Verstappen didn't necessarily take a dig at Hamilton back, but he opened up about how he feels Mercedes and Hamilton handled the championship result and why he thinks they were unreasonable. The 24-year-old believes the Brackley team is simply trying to take the shine away from his maiden title, as he is fully confident he won the title on merit, not luck. "At the end of the day, it was a crazy and epic Formula One season," said Verstappen. The losing team will try to take the shine off it a bit, but on the winning side, it still feels good, I can assure you. A championship is won over a whole season, not by one decision in the last race. "I also think I deserved the title, absolutely," continued the Red Bull driver. "There might be people who only watched the last Grand Prix. They might think I was lucky. But normally, the championship would have been decided in my favor," concluded the 2021 champion before mentioning some of the defining moments from last season. As he believes he would have snatched the title a couple rounds prior to Abu Dhabi if it weren't for some bad luck earlier in the season by saying, "I lost a lot of points twice after being knocked out by another car, and I had that blowout in Baku. With all that bad luck, it came down to the last race." Whilst both the drivers had incredible seasons, you can't deny that Verstappen had a slight edge. He was leading in Baku with a strong gap behind him, and Even if he came second both in Silverstone and Hungary without any extra fastest lap points, the Dutchman would have sat at 456.5 instead of 395.5 by the end of the season if all his other races went the same way they did. This would mean that Verstappen would mathematically take Hamilton away from the title charge as early as Mexico, potentially Brazil. And while stall fans were extremely delighted it came all the way to the wire with the two men completely tied on points, as it gave the championship a whole new dynamic, one has to admit that if it weren't for Verstappen's 3 DNFs, Abu Dhabi would have never happened. Christian Horner was the next to break silence over the way he truly feels about the 2021 season. "It was just such an epic season, from start to finish, so intense," said the Red Bull boss. "It all came down to that last race. We'd had bad luck earlier in the year, and we had a bit of good luck with the safety car at the end. It was controversial, but we made the right strategic calls and Max still needed to get the job done, and that pass on the last lap was hugely tense, but he managed to finish the job off, won the race, and became the world champion," continued Horner before slamming down Mercedes and Hamilton whilst praising his star driver. You've got to look at the season as a whole. Max won 10 races to Lewis's 8, he led more laps than all of the other drivers combined, he had bad luck in Azerbaijan, Hungary, and Silverstone, said Horner. "We did get a little bit lucky with the incident in the end in Abu Dhabi, but we still had to go and convert that, and Max was very deserving of that championship. You can understand the controversy, and a lot's been made of that. But the decisions we made, it was nothing to do with us. We decided to change tires, it gave Max that advantage. Mercedes could have done likewise, but chose not to," concluded the Red Bull man. But Horner also didn't hesitate to appreciate Lewis Hamilton, as he admitted that the title meant even more when it was won against such a legendary driver. Max was delighted to get that first world championship against such a strong opponent, Lewis Hamilton, the most successful driver of all time. "I think that's what made it so intense, so hard last year, was just the intensity of that rivalry," said Horner. Whilst all the drama is pleasant to watch, we all need to enjoy how incredible of a title battle we just experienced. The Hamilton-Verstappen rivalry is going down in the history books as one of the most iconic in the sport's history. And it was a pleasure to watch the battle intensify as both drivers were driving beyond their limit and gave it their all on track. We want to know what you guys think. Which of the two had the better season, and why? And which of the two drivers do you think was more deserving of the title? Let us know in the comments down below, as we always read each and every one of them. We've let YouTube decide which video of ours you would enjoy watching next the most based on your own unique watching habits. Let's see if they are right.